Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to you, wherever you are. I am Rabia Mirza. I'm a senior HR professional, a thought leader, and an innovator. Today, I'm going to be talking about probationary period or managing an employee during probation and what it means. So I'm going to talk about who's involved, why we do it, or why it needs to be done, the stages that should be in it, the procedure, and then what happens at the end. So probation, first of all, probation to me is a very extreme word. It's used in the criminal law, and I think it should be a softer term that should be used. It's really a period, usually for about 6 months, when somebody is hired into a job, and it's a trial period, a testing period, or more of an exploration period for both sides, both the employer and the employee, to see if the job is a good fit for both sides. So that's really probationary period, or an exploration period, is for both parties, the employer and employee, to see if they're a good match. Essentially, that's what it is. Why do organizations have this? Well, because it's best practice is to give somebody a good chance, a good 6 months or whatever it may be, to really dig deep into the job and see if they can actually do the job as well as they claim to do during the interview process and so on. And then it's also a requirement by law that during probation, that the employee is given the resources, the support to do the job, to perform well. And if they don't, then what you need to do about it is to basically meet the employee a few times, give them the opportunity to improve, and then work on that. So it's a legal requirement that if you're going to terminate somebody, if an employer is going to terminate somebody during probation, they need to follow a process. And then, the other reason for doing it is because it's the right thing to do. It's ethical, it's moral, it's the right thing to do. It's not the right thing to just let somebody go because they made one mistake. So who's involved in the process? A lot of the times, I think it's seen that organizations or the employer is the main person that's involved in it, but it involves the employee just as much, and then it involves the department that they work in. So it's a combination of the skills, the performance, the conduct, and the fit, the culture fit. So it's testing all those elements. So that is all part of the initial stages of the employee life cycle. During the first few months, the probationary period, the exploration period, the direct line manager should meet with the employee a few times, regardless of whether things are going really well, exceeding than expected, or if they're not going so well. So the line manager, it is up to them to initiate the meeting, but the employee can also ask for a meeting for feedback. So my recommendation as a HR professional is that, when an employee comes on board into a new organization, the most important thing is that everything is set up smoothly for the first day as much as possible. And then at the end of the day, check in with the employee to see how they're doing, if they need any help. And then the same at the end of the first week, and then maybe the first month, the third month, the fifth month, and then at the 6-month period, you should have a good idea of how the person is doing. And during each of these meetings, they can be formal or less formal, but what you're trying to determine is it's to have a two-way feedback system to see how both sides feel about each other, about the job, about the culture, about the team environment, and so on. So it's to check the competency of both sides, primarily the employee, because they're the ones that are doing the job. But if there's any support that's needed, the line manager should step in. And if things are not working out according to plan, things are not working out so well, the employee's underperforming, and so then the line manager should engage with the HR department and seek guidance on how to process that, or work through those stages. So at the end of the probation period, it's either going to be successful, so the person will pass the probationary period and typically become a permanent member of staff, or else becomes, the contract gets extended, or different things can happen depending on what the employment contract states. And then if things don't work out, whether the employee is underperforming or if the employee doesn't like it, that's another avenue to go down. And usually, it's not always a bad thing if things don't work out. So that's very important, that both sides, both the employee and the employer, line manager, kind of recognize and learn from this experience to see where things could have gone better. Maybe the employee took the job in good faith. It didn't turn out exactly what they expected. They didn't enjoy it as much. They didn't perform as well as they thought they could. And maybe for the employer, the line manager, maybe they could have invested more time in the recruitment, or maybe they could have helped the staff member in different ways. So there are a lot of things that can happen. So it's a case by case. The HR department should help out on those matters. So that's really what the probation period is there for, is for both sides to see if it's a good fit and if it's a good match. So I hope you enjoyed learning about this probation period. And thanks for listening. Thanks for watching again. If you have any comments, feel free to put them in the comment box or send me a message. And hope you have a nice day. Take care. Bye for now.